This video contains like the first 7 hours of the game, so if you haven't beaten the first 2 bosses, if you don't want to get like spoiled, you can click off the video or come back when you actually finish those bosses, because I do have a lot of to say about this game, about how I feel, my background as a Mario and Luigi fan, and why I call myself the #1 Partners in Time fan. But those are irrelevant because this is mainly an early thoughts video about Brothership and how I feel about it. While I'm speaking, as you can see in the background, the loading times for my Switch specifically is absolutely horrendous. I guess this is what IGN was talking about during the review that they posted, which was a 5 out of 10. I mean, I can't see the point of why it's a 5 out of 10, but they have been reposting the same fucking tweet like 5 times a day at this point, and it's getting old. Like, they're just trying to get the quote-unquote rage baiting that the Twitter users, I mean X, the everything app users love to do. For the early thoughts, I will say that from what I've played, the game is okay, I guess. I mean, the pacing is kind of like, why is it like so slow? I don't get it. Like, you unlock the ability to sail faster in like after the first boss, so during that it's like a lot of waiting, and the game wants you to grind on older islands, or like the islands that you have already connected, and like gain EXP or shop or explore. After you connect an island, you can like sorry, this is not scripted, I'm just putting my thoughts on the table as they come. You can go back to the older islands that you have already connected, and there's like new areas that you can explore with the hammers and stuff. And like, you get the bros attacks, or like the first bros attack, the green shells and the red shells, after like the first boss, which I don't get why, because of like, I get that you gotta use like the Luigi logic, the main gimmick of this game, to deal, or like rather stunning him and then dealing massive damage. By massive damage I mean like 80 damage with both Mario and Luigi. And like overall, my thoughts on the story so far is like, I mean, okay, it's nothing like that special, and in my honest opinion, older games still have better story. But Paper Jam, obviously people dislike it, but I actually like the game. Paper Jam has worse story than Brothership, but the rest of the games, Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, Bowser's Inside Story, and Dream Team, have better story in my opinion right now, and from what I've heard and read online. As for the performance issues I mentioned earlier, honestly, the game runs like meh on my Switch. The load times are horrendous for my Switch, because it takes like 2 minutes to get into an island from ship shape. Sorry. And there's like, the difficulty isn't that much, and like the counterattacks feel worse. They don't feel as fluid as the older games. It's weird, I don't know how to describe it, but like, there was a side quest on Romba Island that involved about like 3 birds that are level 15. They were like, they almost kicked my ass. I had to use like a lot of items because I couldn't just get the timing right. And like, I have played the older games like over 100 hours at this point, and it's really not fluid as, let's say, the first 2 games, Superstar Saga and Partners in Time. You use X and Y for hammer, or also A and B for, you know, your hammers and bros attacks and jumps. But the thing is that this game doesn't let you control Luigi with B. on the battles. Like you can't press B and select his moves to what to do. And another thing is that speaking of Luigi, uh, he is controlled by an AI now, and you don't gotta jump for him anymore. Which I think they made it because of like new players, so they don't get overwhelmed. But it wasn't even that hard to control. It's easy to control Luigi in the older games, but now he has an AI, and there's a whole Luigi logic gimmick, which, as I mentioned, it was the main gimmick of this game, like how babies were partners in times gimmicks, Bowser was, Inside Stories gimmick, and Dream World was Dream Team's gimmick. Now, from what I've played, it's really just like the swapping, you could swap bros on Superstar Saga, and it's really just the worst version of that, from what I feel like. Like, don't get this review as like, or like an early thoughts video as like negative. I'm just pausing whatever comes to my mind about the game and how I feel as like a old time. I have been a fan of Mario and Luigi since my entire life. And speaking of my entire life, I will now get to as why I call myself the #1 Partners in Time fan. Because of like, I haven't seen anyone online, both Twitter and Reddit, speak or, spout about the game as much as I have. I have a physical copy, but it's like, it looks like it's from the ancient times. It's like really, the box art for the game is like really, it's covered in a weird material, and it's like, worsened. It's old because of that. The game is fucking 18 years old, and I first played Partners in Time like on 2023, like last year January. I got bored and decided to check out the Mario and Luigi games again, because at that time Paper Jam was my fucking favorite game ever. It's weird, I know. It was my favorite. But then I played it and beat it in a week, and I thought to myself, apart from the final boss, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty enjoyable and I liked it, and so I decided to replay the entire Mario and Luigi games, like, Superstar Saga, Bowser's Inside Story, Dream Team, and Paper Jam. I was able to beat Superstar Saga in like a week again, and Bowser's Inside Story took 2 weeks, and then Dream Team, okay, so I started Dream Team in February, right? I fucking finished it December 20th, because my 3DS, or like, the R button wasn't working, so I had real life stuff happening as well during that time, so I couldn't just finish it. And so I did finish it, and I got a new 3DS too. I like it a lot. I have spent over like a bajillion hours on playing Mario and Luigi specifically. And then I decided to start Paper Jam, or no, I started Bowser's Inside Stories remake after I finished Dream Team, or before I finished Dream Team, like a few hours before. Honestly, I prefer the remake overall. I just like it more. Nothing wrong about liking the original Bowser's Inside Story. It's most people's favorites, and it performed like a bajillion times better than the remake. But apart from that, after earlier this January, I replayed Partners in Time and beat it under 11 hours, and the final boss took me 15 minutes. You can definitely tell that I improved, because the original was an hour long. But that's just normal when you play the game first time. You just don't know what's coming up. I can't speak fluent English, I'm sorry. But apart from that, let's get back to fucking Brothership. So, Brothership, after like 9 years of beating Paper Jam, I don't know how to feel about the game. At one side, I like it, but there is also like, it's weird. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like really, it's going to be like 40 hours long from what I can tell. I mean, I have put 7 hours into the game, and I'm on like the second ocean. It's divided into 4 oceans, I think, and I'm on the second one. In fact, I haven't even started the second one. I didn't even play that much Brothership because I was playing Metaphor because I'm close to the ending, but I just had to record like 20 minutes of footage on that game, and like, I'm 90% sure that most of the footage is just the loading times. It's really that bad on my Switch, but I hope you guys or you people aren't having that much issue with the loading times, because it's really like it really makes it take longer. Obviously, it feels more of a slog than rather enjoying it, because of the older games the transitions were really quick from what I can recall, because it's been a hot minute since I played a Mario and Luigi game. And for the counter-attacking I mentioned, I know that this is just, I already said that this is unscripted, I'm just shitting whatever comes to my mind, but for what I think of the counter-attacks, it's really goddamn weird, because there's like these spiky blue enemies on the first or the second dungeon, or like the first dungeon, the great lighthouse. It's like for their first attack they spin really fast, and for their second it's like really slow. I don't get it. I don't get why they did like that. But if I had to rank the games right now from what I've played on Brothership, I would rank them like, actually I'll just put it on the screen. As for my favorite games, I've put them on the screen right now because I can't properly name them off of my head, even though I have played a lot, but I'm just a fraud. So overall, my thoughts on the game so far from what I've played is kind of mixed. At one side I like it, but at one side I don't like it. It's like 50-50. Not saying the game is bad, of course you're allowed to have all your own opinions. I just wanted to make a silly video where I just shit my own thoughts on this dead channel that I barely upload. I have a very consistent upload schedule, please do not subscribe. But like, if this video ever like, you know, does well, I might like make a full-on review once I finish the game with spoilers. This was like a non-spoiler, like the first dungeon thoughts video. I just wanted to get this out because I want to know how other people feel about the game from what they've played, apart from just its peak or its mid. But the worst change in Brothership overall is like not being able to use Luigi for, like, not having the B, I can't speak, not being able to use B for Luigi's action during battles. I haven't mentioned the soundtrack overall. This is like at the end of the video, and this is the last thing I'm going to mention because of that. The new composer Sakamoto, I don't remember his first name, in my opinion he did a great job, but of course it's nowhere near Yoko's original music from older games. I prefer Yoko, but Sakamoto has done a great job on the OST, but the main battle theme, it took me a bit to get used to or to warm up to it. It's nowhere near like, let's say, Come On, Partners in Time's battle theme, Let's Go, and Victory in the Dream World, etc. It's weird. And the boss battle theme is like, it feels Mario and Luigi like, but it's not like a Mario and Luigi boss like it doesn't get close to the Crisis of Red and Green and Tough Guy Alert, for example. It's going to take a bit time to get used to the new OST and the new composer, but I definitely miss Yoko, and I do hope that in like the next Mario and Luigi game, I sure do hope that they work together, because I think they could create something really great. And I think that's about it for what I have to spout. If this video does well, I sure do plan to make a full-on review about the spoilers and like the story, the writing and stuff. Writing is like okay, I don't really mind it, but I like Connie a lot. She's a great character. And that's it for the video, I think. I don't know how to do outros, sorry, but that's basically it, as I said. Have fun enjoying Brothership. I'm Turkish, sorry.